You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast presents the Beef and Poot Show. I'm your host, Beef, with special guest Poot. Special guest Poot, how are you doing today? Do you have enough oxygen? That's very interesting, Poot. That's very interesting. You're a very interesting person, Poot. This is what an interesting conversation. Well, thanks for listening to the Beef and Poot Show, everybody. This has been your host, Beef, with my special guest, Poot, saying, so long. All right, thanks, and welcome once again to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast with Beef the Legend, Poot the Bard, baby. Casual Gaming Dad will be joining us later on. Tiger Bomb Tom will be inbound shortly, but for now, you are stuck with the two of us. Ransom is on assignment. I understand he's climbing into the fires of Mount Doom this evening.
He's at the store.
What happened?
He's at the store. That's what he's doing. He's at the store.
But I saw the.
He's at the store getting more Uricarios, okay, and Miak. That's what he's doing. He's at the store getting Uricarios and Miak, okay, for breakfast. He's not on assignment.
Right.
He's not climbing Mount Doom. No one pay attention to that.
All right.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Not on assignment. Not at Mount Doom.
He's at the store.
Buying Miak. So.
Authentic Bulgarian Miak.
Authentic Bulgarian Miak.
Oh,
we are so far off the rails. So, WrestleMania season, baby.
Oh, boy.
And, you know, nothing screams WrestleMania season like, hey, sudden title change. Hey, sudden title change. Hey, sudden title change. Three of them in the last 3 weeks, if you're counting.
And the thing is, it actually does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. You know why? Beef, what company are these titles held in? WWE. There you go. You answered your own fucking question. And plus, maybe they're trying to, on some kind of surface level, trying to mix it up to get more eyes on the product. What? What's this? Finn Balor's back and he has the U.S. title. What? What's happening over here? Dolph Ziggler's the Herberger. What's this? Over here with the hair. They're trying to, do this very... almost like, look at me, I'm wearing a cool hat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what's happening.
Make no mistake, 3 internet darlings have come away with the title 3 specific weeks. If that's not Vince saying, hey, I want to be AEW, but I don't want to be AEW, I don't know what is. I don't know. I want you to think that we're AEW, but we're not AEW.
Well, and the thing is, there's a lot of internet darlings in AEW. I mean, that's pretty much what the foundation was built upon. But, But the thing is, they still booked it like they weren't internet darlings. Like they were just, popular wrestlers. Okay. Have they batted 1,000 all the time? No. But not every company does. I mean, just look at Control Your Narrative. What a fucking weird thing that is. I want to talk about that because fucking it is.
So conflicted.
It is a bag of cats and nails. We'll get there. Let's stick to the path here. It's only 2 of us, okay? Let's hold hands and skip down this path. So
gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ricochet. So Balor winning, and then Ricochet winning, and then Ziggler winning.
Yeah.
So in order of the least amount of problem I have with them. I think Ricochet is up at the top because he has been due a fucking singles title for years.
Agreed.
He won the NXT North American title, I think, on his debut, and was a great, person to hold it.
He took it off Adam Cole, didn't he?
Huh?
He took it off Adam Cole.
No, I think Adam Cole took it off him. I think it's backwards. I think he won the inaugural ladder match.
No, Adam Cole did. Adam Cole won the inaugural.
Well, while I'm Googling that, you know, at the end of the day, like, this is something that he has, that's been coming for him.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I'm excited for him, and you're right. I'm sorry, he did beat Adam Cole. I apologize.
I remember Cole's face when he pulled that belt down. It gave me chills.
Yeah, man. Cole's a pretty good wrestler. Anyway, Ricochet. So, and I mean, like, the incumbent was Sami Zayn, who's embroiled in a fucking feud with Johnny Knoxville, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want Knoxville to be the Intercontinental Champion. I don't want him to beat Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental at WrestleMania. Like, that title, the Intercontinental title in WrestleMania is a weird, strange journey. One that, like, at its peaks has been the absolute show stealer at WrestleMania. And at its worst has been a joke or not fucking seen at WrestleMania. So, like, I didn't want Knoxville to, like, be part of the bad. So that, okay, we'll put that aside. I'm in favor of that. Okay, fine. Next, it's probably Balor.
Yep.
I don't like the idea of him beating Damian Priest.
Did Priest do anything backstage to piss anyone off or something?
No, not that I'm aware of. They just, changed his music.
Realized he fell flat?
Yeah, because, a wrestler and his music are synonymous, and whenever you change that, it's tough to fucking rebound.
It fucks it all up, man. It really does.
It does. Ciampa's another one that, like, fucking rest in peace, his theme. Fucking Baron Corbin.
Such a fucking
I'll
shame.
say this. I agree. And Baron Corbin, I'll stick up for this. When he just had the bass fucking, like, I bring the darkness, I'm the thunder, whatever, the end of days, he was a believable kind of badass heel.
Yep.
And then he, like, inserted the kingly bits into it, and now it's like something fucking goofy with Madcap Moss. Like, when you start stripping away their themes, you start stripping away who they are. And I get it. Ciampa made having no music at all work. He fucking strutted his shit.
It
like
fit
there
the
was
character,
none other.
though. It fit
It's
the
true.
character, and then when he got his, that's when he threw out the "No one will survive."
Mm-hmm. And it was so fucking great for who Ciampa was, i.e. the Psycho Killer. That, like, and they never called him that because, God forbid he, that be seen on WWE or heard on WWE television.
Well, it's the same reason they couldn't call Kyle O'Reilly the artist of violence.
Right. Exactly. So, but that all notwithstanding, like, they kind of stripped Priest for parts. And I mean, he's had a very, Priest that is, has had a very full year. He had a great match with Bad Bunny last year at WrestleMania, which nobody saw coming. And then, has had, he's been U.S. champion for the bulk of this year. So, yeah, I mean, he's done okay. I love Balor. Balor's my guy. But to see him beat a young guy, but like a new guy like Damian Priest, kind of sucks a little bit. But I know he'll rebound. He'll be okay. Here's the one that I'm struggling to understand, man. Is Dolph Ziggler beating Ciampa?
Ziggler?
Dolph Ziggler beating Ciampa
Hi.
at NXT in a three-way to win the NXT title. I appreciate that he didn't beat Braun Breaker for it. I get that. But man, like, someone talked me off a ledge here because, like, I've already kind of left NXT dead and buried in the past. I'm not watching it anymore. I don't even record it anymore. I just keep up with it. And this is kind of like affirming my decision.
I can't tell you. The only thing I can tell you is that again, now I'm back to trying to be a little more reasonable now that you can hear I'm getting a little stuffier as the night goes on.
Happens with all of us.
What?
I was gonna say it always seems to happen like towards the end of the night, like a certain time of the night, you just automatically like get stuffy.
Well, medicine's also wearing off. I got to take my medicine and stuff and go to bed. But the thing is, yeah, old nappy time, Poot, doctor sleep time. But the thing is, I'm gonna try and be a little more Switzerland on this one. I have no problem if occasionally there's a gatekeeper veteran that's believable, like Ziggler, who's, yeah, okay, he's the whole dirty dogs thing or whatever the fuck. He's kind of featured here and there on the main roster and everything. But the thing is, he came down there, shot his mouth off, and even after all the crap that Ziggler's been through and all the poor booking and all the weird gimmicks and all the things, you still believe him. That's my point. Is that Ziggler is believable. He's believable to come down there and be a foil for, gosh shucksy doodles, I'm a big muscly, mean-bearded man like Braun Breaker. The whole white face baby meat thing, as we like to say. Yeah. He's a good foil because he just looks and goes, kid, I don't care how many muscles you have. You're greener than baby shit. Back off. Like, you know what I mean? He just has that swagger and that attitude that he can do it. And it also kind of gives the rub to anyone who does take him down. And anyone who does compete with him, because they get to kind of sit under his learning tree. And that's kind of what NXT unfortunately is now. Instead of being the classic black and gold where it was just really good wrestling and really good storytelling and really good presentation, now it literally is like you're walking into a developmental system and walking into a promo exercise or an entrance exercise. You know what I mean? So having Ziggler there might not be the worst thing. So that's my way to kind of pull you back from the ledge a little bit.
Well, I gotta to further off of that, I gotta agree with you. I'm glad that they're doing something with Ziggler, even if it's, in the grand scheme of things. If you want to look at saying that the NXT title is beneath him or anything like that, or why would they do that to him or anything like that? It could be argued, a lot of people benefit from, and I still hate saying going back down to NXT, but now it definitely can be said as that, because as you just said, it is purely a developmental thing, and there's no qualms about it. We talked about it before. That's exactly what Vince wants. Vince wants to take control of the developmental. He wants to mold these wrestlers as he sees fit. So hence him and Bruce Pritchard taking it over, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether we like it or not. If there's one person that any wrestler could learn something from in ring wise, and I'll give you this one on how to fucking sell like $1 million, it's Dolph Ziggler. That man sells. I can't tell you the number of times I've watched a Dolph Ziggler match and think, one, how fucking underutilized and how underappreciated he is, for the lack of singles titles runs and stuff like that he's had. I mean, yeah, I know he had a lot of intercontinental title runs, but he's only had 1-2 world title runs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, something like that. It does really awesome in ring work, sells like $1 million, can do some good storytelling, but they just never seem to stick with him. They put him on they get hot and cold on him very, very easily. So for them to do something with him, even if it's going down to NXT and, working with some of the developmental and being a gatekeeper down there, at least they're doing something with him. So, and absolutely 100% agree. He has that believability because he's been around and he's, done, all this stuff in it, for so long. He's somebody that makes it believable storyline wise. So there you go. Good storytelling, good chance with the developmental to work with him. Not taking anything away from Ciampa, because obviously there's a lot to be learned, from him as well. But I mean, it's at least it's something. It's something to hopefully revitalize him. I mean, hell, look at how revitalized Balor was. Whenever, I don't know if you guys already talked about it or not. While I was taking care of work business, but somebody like Balor, fucking after he was done in NXT, went up to the main roster. Got injured, then mired around in mid-card obscurity, went back down to NXT and had a fucking banger of a run there as Prince instead of, just the Demon. So, I mean, this could be exactly what Ziggler needs. Maybe he'll get, a little bit of fresh perspective, a little bit of something to recharge the batteries, revitalize his creative juices, and hopefully we get something, better out of him moving forward. Or not necessarily better out of him, but hopefully creative will see something better with him moving forward.
I just when Balor did it, it was done with like grace, where he went back down there and he was like, because Balor
that's where he belonged, though.
Because he had the cachet, man. He was like, I was the NXT champion, and I was the best NXT champion you guys have had. I'm going to show you how to do it right. And he became a great fucking gatekeeper for carrying Cross to beat. Just an amazing feud, match, result, all of it. But Ziggler screams of like, again, like, hey, we hear you guys like internet darlings, so Dolph Ziggler, who you guys have been in love with for 20 years, here's him beating like the one thing from NXT that people stick up for. I will not say kind words about NXT 2.0, not now, not ever.
Not ever.
But the one thing, unless Vince dies, but the one thing that they're doing well is Braun Breaker. He is an absolute fucking star. Outside of his dumbass fucking name, dude, he is an absolute star.
Dude, his name is dumb, and I'm sorry. Anytime that he picks up a mic, I just go like, ugh. I'm sorry. You could feel how now he'll loosen up. He'll learn to cut a better promo. He'll settle into himself. He's still new. Like, I know he grew up around the business and he, and all that, but he's still new to that. But just right now, it's every time he picks up a mic, it's like going back to the early 90s, and it just kind of makes me go, ugh.
No, I agree.
It's cringy.
And the other thing I'll stick up for is Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction. I think they're doing that whole shtick pretty well, too.
Oh, they can definitely do my whole shtick.
Fuck's sake.
Thick reference for the episode. Go on.
Thanks, because we were actually missing that quota, so glad you're here.
I'm here to fill your quota. How you doing? There's two.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why now? Unless either A, they're gonna put the NXT title online at WrestleMania, which would be cool. I dig that, like they did with Rhea's title here a couple years ago, except for the wrong person winning, but that's neither here nor there. Or putting that title on a pedestal of Stand and Deliver, which again would be fine. I don't think it needed that. I would have rather seen Ciampa versus Breaker 3 than Ziggler versus Breaker, but we are kind of where we are with it. I can't, like, Vince is like, hey, we're going to do this my way, and my way is going to make all these new great stars. Okay, like, we don't agree with your way, so we're going to embrace it kicking and screaming, but we're still probably going to embrace it one way or the other. And then when he's making the new stars, he falls into the old pit perils of of how he treated former NXT talents that came up way too early and just became a mediocre joke. A mediocre is what they became.
Yeah. Here's I got a question for you.
You're a wordsmith, aren't you, buddy?
Mediocre. Mediocre is what they were. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Now, I know you said Braun Breaker is the one thing that they're doing right. Do you think with his lack of mic skills. And yes, I know, again, like Poot said, he's new. It'll come with time. But do you think they made the right decision putting the title on Braun Breaker when they did?
No.
I do.
No.
Okay, but see, this is why I asked, because, you know, I get it. It's developmental, but if it's developmental and you know this guy is green, why'd you have him beat Ciampa in the first place? Why, you know, I don't, that I wasn't 100% sold on. And to be honest, a lot of the newer names that are there, with the exception of, and I'm forgive me if I get his name wrong, is it Joe Gacy or whatever?
Yeah.
Short of him, and Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction, but obviously Mandy's an already established name. There's not a lot of the newer people that I'm really invested in for any one reason or another. Now, I mean, that could just be, you know, WWE leaving the fucking taste of, you know, sour milk in my mouth there for as long as they have, and just life getting in the way and not having the time to really invest myself in the product. But I never hear anything saying, "Oh my god." Well, I was gonna say, that's the thing. I don't hear anything from anyone saying, "Oh my god, you need to go watch NXT." I hear that all the time about AEW, like, "Oh my god, you got to go watch it. They put on a hell of a show this week," or whatever. I don't get that same thing from NXT. So I wonder, like, you know, the fact of them putting the title on Braun Breaker when they did, and now taking it off of him. Do you think they thought it was a mistake in the first place and they're trying to fix their mistake, or what? Like, why?
Well, and so the other thing is, like, this makes him look good because you know who else were 2-time champions? Very few, man. NXT has been very, very careful and calculated with their title history, that they haven't had a ton of 2-time champions. Balor, Joe, Ciampa, like, I think Cross had it twice, but only because he had to give it up once. Like,
Technically.
Very few people who have had that distinction.
Did Adam Cole have it twice?
I don't think so. I think he's had it one time. I'm sure.
I might have to go back and check. Gargano only had it once, right?
Yes. But bottom line here is, like, that is and those are, like, highly regarded names. So now Breaker gets to join that club when he inevitably becomes the next guy to hold it twice. I have no problem. So Ciampa had nowhere else to go. He had offered everything he could to NXT. The last thing that he could do was give the Undertaker rub. Like, give the, okay, I'm the old guy and I'm getting beat by the new guy. Like, this is how this works. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That was what he did. And it should have been over. Like, that should have been it. Why they've drugged Dolph Ziggler down there, Bobby Roode, I don't know.
Did they drag them both down or just Ziggler?
Oh no, Roode's been down there with them too. The dirty dogs have been down there.
Listen, I gotta interject and I gotta say, they still, I will argue this point to this day, that they missed the train with the tag team name of Too Damn Rude. Why the fuck did we not make this happen? Fucking trademark, copyright by me. I'll sell it to Vince for a pretty penny. You're welcome.
So I have no problem with
dogs. Get the fuck out of here.
With Breaker beating Ciampa the first time. I have a problem with him losing. And again, he didn't technically lose. He was never pinned. He didn't give up. Ciampa lost. All you're doing is hurting Ciampa's legacy by having Ziggler beat him, and you're getting a title off of the guy to give it back to the same guy. Do you think that's kind of a Vince way of putting the screws to one of the last black and gold OGs there, putting the screws to Ciampa that way, hurting his legacy, like, ha ha, I'll do this to you because I can. Probably. He made his choice. You know, they've all made their choices. Guys like Pete Dunne, guys like LA Knight, Now the problem is with like Dunn and Knight.
They came
Like,
in
they-
during the black and gold.
They did. They signed their big agreements whenever it was still like, okay, here's what's going to be happening, and they've had the rug pulled out from under them. So you got to feel bad for those guys.
Oh yeah, I do.
But so when Breaker made his debut on Raw last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Wait, that happened?
Yes. Yep. He was in a tag team match with Ciampa against get this, the Dirty Dogs.
On
Yep.
Raw.
On Raw.
Yep, because
they told
fuck
him
the police.
Yep. They
Wait,
told
what?
him,
Why? I'm so confused. Why?
bro, if you're having trouble trying to figure out why an NXT talent's on Raw, we're gonna have a conversation about last year with Keith Lee and Killer Cross. I digress. That whole shtick, yes, it's problematic for sure. But after his debut, he was told, "You did good, kid, but you gotta smile more." Dude, fucking Braun Breaker should be a monster. He should be a suplex machine. He should go out there and like leave people on their fucking necks, just like Brock Lesnar does. Brock Lesnar doesn't fucking smile unless Brock Lesnar wants to fucking smile, and everybody's okay with that. I don't get this whole thing of like, hey man, you got to go out there and be white-faced baby meat. Steve Austin never fucking smiled unless he was about to stun your ass. Never did he fucking smile.
It was a
Ever. He was out
different.
there-
It was a different time.
Yeah,
It was a different time.
To be fair, yes, you're right on that, because that was during a time where society in general had that angst that I mean, not that it's disappeared, that people still don't want to stick it to their boss and they wish they could like kick their boss's ass or something like that. But that was like
It was the time of Fight Club.
That was the antithesis of like of the culture of everything at that time. Just not only within the world of wrestling, but they just fed off of that. That was in the days of like Rage Against the Machine, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? Like that, to put it in perspective.
And I hear that, but I guess I'm just having trouble identifying.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, yeah.
Like if you're a badass baby feet, baby feet,
baby feet.
Why?
That's my ska band.
That's right. Like I don't understand why if you're this badass, you got to go out and fucking cheese it up. No, if you're a badass,
I'm sorry.
Your fucking music hits. You walk down the aisle. No, you fucking stalk down the aisle. You take care of your fucking business and you fucking leave. That's what you fucking do. I don't like. Now babyface have to smile all the time. Like, get the fuck out of here. Vince is already fucking up his own fucking direction for NXT 2.0, and it's I guarantee that its life cycle is not too much longer, because when that contract comes up for USA, it wouldn't shock me if they were like, nope, we're not renewing it because this is not what we signed up for.
I'm gonna coin a new phrase: white face baby feet. It's gonna be the perfect crossover.
No, I think Beef coined it.
No, it's the perfect crossover from whiteface baby meat to badass baby feet. Whiteface baby feet. I like it.
Badass baby feet. No, but that's the problem, is that everything, and not to use the term incorrectly here, it's kind of the general sense. Everything in WWE, NXT, anything that they do has been the corners have been chopped off and covered with Nerf and grandmother kisses. Like that's what happens. It's true. Like, I mean,
You are 100% correct.
And it's everything that made it the W, like literally up until the beginning of the PG era.
Yeah.
And every time they try and dip their toe back in and get a little edgy, and you can see it over the years when they're like, okay, let's get a little more edgy. Let's dip our toe back into this. And they see, fucking peanut butter Snickers go, well, we're not sponsoring this. Then they pull away and go, no, not our precious money. Like, instead of going like, why don't you get other sponsors that don't give a fuck as long as you make the money? Like,
True.
Yep.
that's the big thing. And the problem is, and again, I mentioned this earlier, Tom, I don't know if you heard it or not. That's kind of the problem and I'm not trying to get away from NXT and what's going on down there, but like, that's the problem that you're having right now in the world, because you have literally the 3 bowls of porridge right now. And I'm not trying to take Impact away from it, but when I'm talking about like how wrestling presents itself, you have the WWE that is the round, smiley handshake version of SpongeBob, dipped in fucking pure cane sugar. Oh, and then God. You have AEW, which is perfect. In my opinion, and I know I sound like an apologist, and I know I sound like a big old dumb internet, well, actually type, but like AEW, I tell people, if you don't like wrestling and you don't watch wrestling, watch AEW, you will be fucking sports entertained. Like, you will be sports entertained even if you know none of these guys. Just watch it and you'll have fun. And almost every single person they just go, it's, the people who didn't really like it go, it's wrestling. They're like, right. It was okay. It was fun. But most people go, wow, that was great. But then on the other end of the thing, over in that shadowy area over there, son, that's where all the hyenas and everything are, and all the fucking elephant skeletons. That's where CYN is running around, that control your narrative.
Yeah.
And fucking the shit that these guys are doing. The presentation is seriously like a love letter to fucking Fight Club. It's a love letter to that fucking edgelord you knew back in the early 2000s in high school, who would sit and listen to fucking Typo Negative and always carry around a pocket knife because he was fucking edgy and he might kill someone. Like, it's literally the spectrum. There's the 2 extremes, and then you have the perfect thing in the middle.
I don't understand why you hate Control Your Narrative so much.
It's because it is the island of misfit toys of people who could not get along with anyone in the back except for Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is the only one, or Killer Kross, I'm sorry, I'm calling him by his slave name. Killer Kross is the only one of that group of fucking people that never had a problem, or I could find any reports that anyone had a problem with him in the back. The rest of the guys, there's always reports of them being pains in the dick or being arrogant, especially someone like Austin Aries.
Oh, that's not fair. Someone has said that, like, Control Your Narrative is basically wrestling for the anti-vax crowd, and like I can't stop like seeing that. These are guys who are very like overspoken about their beliefs, and like very like, rah rah rah, sis boom bah. And I'm not trying to make it a political thing, like, Republican, Democrat. I'm not trying to do that, but I mean, a lot of them do fall into that crowd.
Okay, if I may.
Jackson Riker's another one who's in Control Your Narrative as well.
Oh.
We know where he stands.
Okay,
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Austin Aries is a very big anti-vaxxer, so they're
Okay,
yes.
so
hold on. Go ahead, Tom, because I have here a report from someone who was at the first Control Your Narrative event. So Tom, go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, no. I was gonna kind of get back to something with NXT, and something that I watched today that really kind of ties in with NXT and the developmental. But I want to hear your Control the Narrative.
Okay,
Your narrative
so
first.
Here's the thing. I found it. Okay, admittedly, it's not on any of the mainstream stuff, but it's from eWrestlingNews.com. Okay, all I did was Google Control Your Narrative first event. And this was, like, aside from the actual Control Your Narrative website things.
Okay.
This was the first one. You ready? So, and I quote, "No chairs for fans, a space cowboy, and a reference to AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page were all part of the first Control Your Narrative event last night. Control Your Narrative is a new promotion by EC3 and Adam Shearer, which will have its first taping later this month. But this was their first event. A Reddit user named one of the best names ever, Semi-God Mount Fuji, detailed the experience. You ready? He said, it started off with the national anthem, but there was no seat for the crowds at the show. The audience was instructed to keep the show family friendly, with winners being announced as having controlled his narrative. Development talents were referred to as projects and surrounding the ring in a Fight Club style. So it is like a love letter to Fight Club. When action went out of the ring, the projects were tasked with throwing them back in the ring. So it's like a constant lumberjack match. Austin Aries confronted Space Cowboy, who's apparently not an indie darling, but an indie person, during one segment and asked where he got his starter Adam Page cosplay outfit. Aries then added that he'd have to carve 7 inches off his legs to match the reigning AEW World Champion, prompting someone in the audience to yell, "And 2 inches off your dick." The main event saw EC3 and Adam Shearer defeat Righteous Bateman and Vincent. The Righteous Bateman and Vincent. I have no idea who they are. Adam Shearer ended the show with saying this is the first of many and will make people watch, love, and respect professional wrestling. On social media, tweets about the event spread about the event, with many noting that it happened in a bar, which also featured an Uncle Kracker cover band. So there you go.
Let me. So I literally just found this article, and it's this paragraph is worth quoting. And I don't quote the Sportster ever because the Sportster is not the best news outlet. But this is a pretty well written paragraph. The whole promotion seems like the dream of a Facebook uncle who complains about cancel culture. Control Your Narrative is clearly influenced by Fight Club's Project Mayhem, though they have failed to grasp the work's messages on the dangers of toxic masculinity, proto-fascism, and the creation of cult-like followings. While some may find cringe humor in the debut show, from being hosted in the back of an Orlando bar with some poor production value, even by independent wrestling standards, or just the bizarre nature of it all, CYN is a troubling addition to the wrestling ecosystem.
Is it what?
That paragraph, a troubling addition to the wrestling ecosystem. That paragraph absolutely kind of sums up where Control Your Narrative is right now. And again, given the headspace of those involved, we shouldn't be too surprised.
Is there still any word about them landing some sort of TV deal or anything like that?
They are on Pro Wrestling TV, which I believe is a Pluto channel. I'm not 100%. I know Impact has its own channel on Pluto, but I think Pro Wrestling TV, excuse me, is on there as well. But yes, they're signed on with Pro Wrestling TV, which I think is maybe a YouTube channel as well.
Okay, then. Well,
yeah, but yeah, so that's Control Your Goddamn Narrative. It makes me sad because the only one that really makes me sad that's caught up in all this jiggery pokery is Killer Kross. Killer Kross could go anywhere and make tons of money, yet he's fucking around with the island of misfit Jagovs.
I mean, Matt Cardona, he's been mentioned and linked to the promotion. I still love Austin Aries, man. Like, he can be a real fucking jagoff.
Oh, that's an fucking statement. He's a giant sack of planet-sized dickheads.
But here's the thing.
Well,
I will religiously watch the NFL on Sundays knowing that those are some of the worst people in this fucking country. So, absolutely.
Because it's you're purely entertained by
exactly
the sport of
it's
it.
separating the art from the artist.
Precisely.
Yes.
And that's Austin Aries in a nutshell. Like, I could give 2 fucks about what he's saying I should or should not be eating, or should or should not be masking, or should or should not be vaccinating. I don't fucking care about what he's saying.
Yeah.
I care about what he's doing in the ring. So I hate to see him kind of like
caught up in
swirl
that too.
down the tubes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like this is not going to lead anywhere but bad.
I'm with you on that one. I've been able to separate myself a little bit, separate the art from the artist when it comes to Austin Aries. I thought he was somebody that was extremely underutilized during his albeit brief tenure in WWE. Circling back to that, underutilized and everything like that, talking about the developmental in NXT, and stick with me, this is going to get there. I finally watched the Brock Lesnar sit down interview or whatever, or his appearance on the Pat McAfee show. If you haven't watched that before, I recommend that you do. It's very entertaining. It's good to kind of see Brock just relaxed a little bit. But there was something that Brock said at one point, and I literally paused it because I was in the middle of watching it. Andy came up and she was kind of, she was half paying attention, half not, whatever. But I stopped when Brock said this one thing, and I was like, okay, I got to get on my soapbox. Not that it really matters to her in the grand scheme of things, but I had to vent it. And she was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. Brock said about something about, what the younger talent has to do nowadays. I forget what the question was that Pat asked him, do you see who do you see as that next big star or something from some of the guys that, you've been around now that you've come back and everything. He's like, I don't know. He's like, they got to get over. And he's like, you got to, make yourself stand out, do what you got to do, get over. And that's the same advice that Bully Ray and other veterans and stuff will say. But it's easier said than done when you're handcuffed and, scripted to death by freaking Vince McMahon in both the main roster and I'm sure to some degree now down in NXT. So again, I'm honestly, I'm kind of worried for the for some of this developmental talent. I'm sure they're under a great learning tree with some good coaches and some good in-ring talent and stuff like that. But man, creatively, I can't even be. I just expect the absolute worst of Vince McMahon sinking his old fucking geriatric tendrils deeper and deeper into things down in NXT or NXT 2.0 or fucking 2.5 or fucking whatever the fuck they're gonna call it next. I just, man, I really have very pessimistic predictions for how the creative is going to go for these young talents down in NXT and then continuing into the main roster. I don't see how somebody can make themselves stand out and get over when they're not given the creative tools to do so.
Yep. And those concerns are absolutely founded. With history, man, that's, Vince McMahon has not ingratiated himself to us and how he's treated up and coming talent. The last really good push we saw from up and coming talent was Roman Reigns, and that was 10 years ago at this point, almost 10 years ago at this point.
And the fact that he had that push and was so not well received by the fans because no disparaging John Cena, but it was the John Cena effect. Essentially, it's like, you're gonna like this guy. You're gonna like my guy. It's such good shit. He's such good shit. He's amazing. Okay, well, no, we like this guy better. No, you're gonna like Roman Reigns. No, we don't want to. Well, you're gonna like it or deal with it. Okay, we're just gonna fucking boom all the time. You can't. He's a baby face. Yes, we can.
But if we don't stop Tom, it's just going to keep going. And pretty soon it'll be him sitting. It'll be him 4 hours later, and he'll be like, "Well, I guess it all started when my dad beat me in that trailer." Yeah, Vince. Yeah, I know. You want to get another beer? Yeah, let's go to a strip club, Tom. And then we hear Tom get up and walk away from the mic, and then Beef and I call Andy and be like, "Hey, we're really worried. Tom's going full rogue here."
Tom and Vince Tom.
No.
It's just fucking
Vince
wild
Tom.
to think that Roman Reigns has been around for fucking a decade now, damn near. Because the Shield had their first big match at WrestleMania 29, and we're at 38 this year. So, next year will be a decade of destruction for Roman Reigns.
And it goes back to something that we've talked about before: is that if it's not Vince's idea, or if he doesn't have one of his old geriatric paws in it, that if you can't get over organically. You really can't. Like,
Speaking of Vince's idea, because I hate to cut you off, but I want to get this in real quick. Speaking of Vince's idea and getting over organically, someone who absolutely got over organically, Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming back for WrestleMania this year.
Oh boy.
But
Yeah.
it's for a fucking talk show, for the fucking Kevin Owens show, and I know our boy Ransom's got a pop for it. And I'm sure a lot of people absolutely will pop to see Stone Cold Steve Austin come back. But, like, this is the same shit he did at WrestleMania 21 when he came out with Piper and they shouted at each other for a while, and then they ended up beating up Singh. What was his name? Not Tiger Lee Singh, the other guy. Muhammad Hassan. No.
I don't know. One of the racist heel characters. No.
It was Hassan. Anyway, so like this is the same shit.
or like when he came back and ended up stunning like everybody in the New Day and whoever they had their match with at that Mania.
Yep.
Yeah, so like there were so many people in my stream last night. There was I get my wrestling crossover fans and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh, did you see Stone Cold versus KO?" I'm like, it's not going to be a match. It's right now. The talks of it are there's an altercation. So yeah, he's probably going to give him a stunner, but it's not a full-fledged match. Quit wetting your fucking panties and calm down, internet.
The only thing worse than Stone Cold coming back and having a match and taking a spot on a WrestleMania card from a guy who deserves it is Stone Cold coming back, not having a match and getting over on KO, who, thank God he signed a contract. I mean, I'm sure that Kevin Owens is absolutely through the moon. I'm sure that he's so excited to work with Stone Cold. He doesn't care if it's a fucking match, confrontation, altercation, fucking talk show. He doesn't care at all. And because he's a consummate professional, and I think, working with Steve Austin is probably a bucket list item for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that being said, here we are. WWE is still clinging to the fucking Attitude Era. You have a guy like Edge who absolutely has reinvented himself over and over and over again, second only to Chris Jericho, I think. He has made himself a main eventer by dint of who he has become, not who he was. This Edge that we're seeing now is not the same Edge that we got fucking 30 years ago. I guess not 30, 25 years ago. But the Stone Cold Steve Austin is absolutely the same fucking beer-swilling, foul-mouthed redneck that everybody loves. He's a trope. He's a meme at this point.
What?
Exactly. And fucking, I loved last night, Kingston and Jericho
shut that
promo.
Shit down.
He sure fucking did. He's like, Steve Austin's not here, so shut up about it. And I'm like, fucking A, Eddie. I love you, Eddie Kingston. Because
Eddie Kingston's so like, pervasive. What are you going to do? Fucking fire me? Fire me. I'll go back out to the Indies. I love him.
That what shit is so pervasive and toxic to wrestlers.
Oh, dude, I can't count the number of times that they did it on the Pat McAfee show as a whatever, and like I had to turn down the TV because Andy was like, "It's a little much."
It's fucking ridiculous. I hate that shit. It was funny when it first started. Now, and it's been around fucking 20 years too long. Bottom line here is that Stone Cold, I respect the legend of Stone Cold, and I think that Steve Austin, 100%, like during the biggest boom period wrestling has ever had, took the ball, ran with it, and made a fucking killing of it. Great work. I'm not taking any of that away from Stone Cold. I'm saying that now, 20 some odd years removed from the Attitude Era, we don't need Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back to WrestleMania, beating a top star who absolutely does need a match and a win at WrestleMania. It just,
it's
it boggles my mind.
No, go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
It's a pervasive cyclical problem of, like I mentioned, the fact that people can't get over organically. So like the fact that WWE relies so heavily on your Stone Colds or somebody like, if he ever comes back again, The Rock, people from the past, you're relying so much on the past and you're handcuffing your talent nowadays that you're never going to get that next Stone Cold or that next Rock or that next John Cena, because arguably, you know, like when you talk wrestling, you know, there's certain names that have become bigger than the WWE and stuff like that, or bigger than, you know, than wrestling or whatever. Like if you say Hulk Hogan, people know who Hulk Hogan is in the, you know, the general Joe Schmo on the street. Even somebody who's not a wrestling fan has heard of Hulk Hogan, has heard of Stone Cold, has heard of The Rock, has heard of John Cena. You know, Rock and John Cena gone on to, you know, do great things outside of the WWE and their movie careers and stuff like that. Every time I see a fucking Honda commercial, I hear John Cena's voice, you know, whatever. Things are good for them. They're doing good things. But the problem is nowadays, with the newer talent, or this newer generation of talent, I should say, you don't have that because Vince will not allow someone to become bigger than his WWE.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem again, and we keep circling around back to it. We're in this endless fucking loop of saying when Vince McMahon dies, everything's going to be okay. And I don't know if that's necessarily fucking true with just the way that the fucking universe has been working the past couple years. Not entirely sure that's true. I don't know if anything in the WWE is going to be okay ever again. But the point is, Tom's right, is that, and Beef's right, that they can't grow another talent because they have the weeds of all these other ones around. I love seeing The Rock come back. Fuck it. I love seeing Stone Cold. Hearing that glass break makes me feel like a 14-year-old again, or a 10-year-old who's dropping elbows off of his couch onto a bunch of pillows. Like, you know, it gives you that
WrestleMania pop.
But it's that WrestleMania pop. It's that popcorn thing, and then you're done. And then you kind of go, oh, that's right. He's not actually going to wrestle a match. Here, in a perfect world, what would have happened? Austin would have agreed to one more match. Had it be like a 5-minute thing. He could have hit all of his marks. And then he could have stunned KO. KO kicks out of it. Austin shocked. He goes, all right, fine. He calls for the Steve Weisers in the middle of the match. Gets Steve Weiser, hands one to Kevin. All right, kid, all right. And then he goes to boot Kevin when they're drinking the beers. Kevin sidesteps, boots him in the stomach of his own. KO stunner, pins Austin, and wins. That would make Kevin Owens, it would strap a rocket to his back. He would be the biggest heel because he beat Austin at his own game at WrestleMania. But it would give him the rub, and they could just run with that shit for the rest of their lives. But they won't do that because Austin is sticking to his guns because he sees the dumb shit that Shawn Michaels partook in when he came back and did one more.
Yeah. Well, one more became fucking 6 more years for Shawn. So, and I'm sure that's exactly what, you know, Austin's seeing too. He definitely get. Again, I don't begrudge the dude. He seems like a good guy, and he gets the business. I'm sure that they will work on a way to get them both over, but I don't see a scenario where Kevin Owens doesn't get stunned and Austin doesn't have the Steve Weisers over a lifeless Kevin Owens body. I just don't see a scenario where that happens.
Yep.
Which is shitty. That a guy that was big fucking 25 years ago is going to get over a guy who should be big now.
Allow me to
It isn't even on the card. It just, I'm so confused.
Allow me to post this.
What a weird time.
As getting both of them over. They're out there. They're having an argument. They're doing something. It's about to come to blows. McMahon comes out. Gets in the middle of them. They both stun McMahon and both have Steve Weisers over Vince McMahon's lifeless body.
That could work.
I mean, it would literally be lifeless because I think taking a bump at his advanced age would absolutely turn the duck. But
says
you know what?
McMahon,
good idea.
If he could die in the ring with Steve Austin at WrestleMania, I think that he wouldn't shit his pants at the end of life like everybody else does. He would just geyser of jizz would come out of him.
Oh God, no! Oh no!
Out of the grapefruit.
I think. God, I think we need a burrito now. No, I can't.
Beef, what else do we need to touch on?
I'm done.
This is everything being spoken right now is true. No, man, that's pretty much the end of the thing. I mean, like I said, I don't understand the whole Seth Rollins thing. Like, oh, Seth Rollins is gonna have a WrestleMania match. Yes, he fucking is. He's like one of your quote unquote pillars of WWE. There's no fucking and I think Meltzer and I think SRS both had this to say. They're like, no one fucking believes this whole, oh, the big superstar not going to get a fucking match at WrestleMania. Like, so quit pulling that fucking udder because there ain't no milk coming out.
Oh, speaking of Seth Rollins, did you guys hear? Did you see that article I sent to you guys about Becky Lynch being injured? She got injured at a house show or something recently.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I guess it's not super serious.
Okay, I
she
wasn't
got
sure.
her. Well, no, it's serious, but like it's not like she won't be able to compete.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I didn't.
She had her
I
voice
didn't hear
box
any more.
crushed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Which
yeah.
only adds more heat to the Becky and Bianca feud. So
Yeah.
I just hope that they do the right thing with that, man. Like, while we're talking about WrestleMania, they absolutely have to let Bianca beat Becky, right? Like, there's not even a fucking chance that we get another fucking SummerSlam debacle. Like, this has to happen.
Yeah, it's a good looking fucking question, isn't it?
Why?
That's a good looking fucking question, and we can answer that as we draw closer to WrestleMania, and it's coming up here soon, man. It's coming up quick. What is it? Is it April? What is
the
it?
first
April?
weekend in April, I believe, the 6th or not the
The first
is it-
and
is it-
second.
No,
No.
it's. I don't think it's the 9th and 10th. But either way, it is
Yeah, let
coming
me-
up quick. I'll have them. Yeah.
Let me Google it really quick. While we're still on the topic, wrestle. Oh, did we have a Stump the Champs?
We do not,
Oh no,
because he was on their show last time. The second or
bros.
third.
I got some news for you. WrestleMania 38 is going to be April 2nd and 3rd.
Yep. So that's 4 weeks from tonight, or from this weekend rather. So.
I cannot make it to night one. I just realized
Sounds
that
about right.
we have a gig.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah, we have
no.
a gig. We have a gig night one. Yep. April 2nd, even though I told them, because I thought I was under the assumption that it was going to be the second weekend, the first full weekend in April. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Which is usually what it is, yeah. But
Yeah, but this one technically is the first full weekend of April. But so I'll probably have to be there Sunday evening. See if I can get that Monday off. I don't know. I'm getting a little light on PTO. Anyway, burrito time, guys. Thank you very much for joining us for the P3 podcast, both episodes this week. I'm doing my best to get the anchor uploaded now that I have real big boy internet in the real big boy Pootatorium.
Yeah.
So I've done quite a bit. There's only one missing episode, but guess what? No episodes are missing on the YouTube. You can go on over there and you can check them out over on YouTube. But you can also check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, iTunes, anywhere that you find your quality podcasts, you can find P3 Podcast. So make sure you check that out. Also, I need to get off my lazy duff and I need to find time to conduct some of the interviews that I'd like to set up. I'm working on, I talked to Dos Hermanos Luchas. I'd love to sit down and talk with them about their expansive ring-worn lucha gear. And they have such a knowledge of lucha libre and the culture and the history. It would be great to sit down and talk. Plus, I've known those guys forever. So, we'll have to sit down and talk to them. I'm going to see if I can get a chat with Mr. Bill Apter. See if maybe we can get a talk with Bill. And just some other fun, insane jiggery pokery. I also want to make a petition to go ahead and bring back collar elbow tie up. I think that would be a lot of fun, but that's a discussion for another time. Again, thank you to the sponsors, Mr. Casual Gaming Dad, our very own Tiger Bomb Tom, and his page over on Facebook, Casual Gaming Dad. Join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. Keep up with all the awesome streaming he does on Facebook, also on Twitch, and also on YouTube. And Tom, I'm sorry I hadn't been there the past 2 weeks for the inaugural Strictly Twitch Among Us, and then also this past Tuesday. day because I was still man down. I really felt like garbage.
That's okay, and I want to thank everybody real quickly for their support coming out, because I may have actually, it may have happened sooner than what I realized, but I got the email. So we are, as of this last Tuesday, Twitch exclusive. We are Twitch affiliate. So that has happened. So
you are now exclusively Twitch.
No, just on Tuesdays. No. So moving forward, the streams are going to be Facebook and YouTube simulcast, and then whatever nights I end up doing Twitch exclusive, I'll try to upload that video to the YouTube page later on in the week. So as of right now, Tuesday nights are Twitch exclusive, and the rest of the nights that I stream will be Facebook, YouTube simulcast.
Well, congratulations, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Make sure to continue supporting Casual Gaming Dad, not just by viewing him on Twitch, not just by viewing him on YouTube or on Facebook, but also by buying his merch over on gouldgaming.com. Search on Casual Gaming Dad. Get all your awesome Casual Gaming Dad merch and get your very own Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt. Would really help us out. And it's not just $49.99, you idiots. It's cheaper than that, and they're high quality t-shirts. We also want to thank the ghost of Frigoff Ransom, Ransom the Madman. He has not been here this week, and it makes me sad. I missed him, but I hope I channeled you well enough, old spirit Ransom, with a little bit of the salt and a little bit of the booze too. But check out his YouTube channel, Frigoff Ransom. He is one of the funniest people that I know, and just a great guy all around. We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with Central PA Independent Wrestling, specifically IWC. So thank you, Sean. And hopefully we can get out this summer to some independent wrestling shows. I know we've been saying that a lot, but the past few years have been kind of screwy, haven't it? For myself, the Barbarian, Poot the Bard, Bay, Mr. Tiger. Come on, Tom, give me one.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom. And, of course, like I said, his page, Casual Gaming Dad. For Mr. Ransom the Madman, everyone, moment of silence for him. Let him channel into you. Yes, he called me a dick nozzle. Anyway, what did he call you in your head? And, of course, our wrestling encyclopedia, Mr. Beef the Legend. Have a great week, everybody.
Penis knuckles.